Hello, my name is Maria Isabel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the gender-based violence against nuns in the Roman Catholic Church. I also would like to point that out, like this problem being invisible for decades under the public eye. I'm going to focus also on how feminist psychology help to address this problem, help them to find solutions, help them to find a voice and power, and also give them support. The unserved, invisible, ignored, and not represented world of abuse against nuns in the Roman Catholic Church. Let's start with one of the first extensive reports made up in 1994 by the Sister Maura O'Downey. She has exposed a 1988 first case from Malawi. Well, it was one of many cases from Malawi, where a bishop dismissed the leaders of the women's religious order because 29 nuns were reported had been pregnant by the local priest. Some of those nuns were forced to leave the order and raise their children by themselves, and other ones were forced to practice abortions. O'Downey briefed the Vatican officials with her findings, but she wasn't taken into consideration. So then, this Irish nun prepared an extensive report for the Vatican, but the document was shelved. Another of the famous nuns who has speak up about this type of abuse is the Sister Doris Wagner. Well, she joined to the convent in 2003, and she was raped by the priest in 2008 when she was only 24 years old. She alleges that most of the time during her mission she was spending a lot of time in the kitchen, where she was chopping vegetables, she was cooking for the priest, she was cleaning, she most of the time being told what to do, and on top of that she says that she associates their vulnerability with the control that priests have over nuns, because the nuns are so ready to listen to others, and they're ready to being told what to do, how to do, and how they're supposed to be. In Germany in 2010, many reports of clerical abuse became to the public eye, so she felt inspired to go and talk and report about what happened to her. So she went to the Mother Superior, where she, instead of finding support, she found a question that she gave it to her, which was if she was wearing or if she was using contraceptives. Her former confessor, the Reverend Hermann Heisler, later became chief of the staff of the theology section of the Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith. But after all the allegations were public, he stepped down and denied everything against him. There is some theoretical approaches that I would like to put into consideration. I related this with the queer feminism, which has criticized the concept of heteronormativity, where in society are only two roles in particular interest in gender performance. They deserve to be serving the priest, they deserve to be in kitchen, they deserve to cook for them, they deserve to clean, they deserve to be obedient, to listen to them. In India also, a nun has reported to the police that one of the priests abuses her more than a dozen times. Now that priest is out of a bail and he is waiting for a trial. And now we have another case from Chile, which is investigated by the Vatican until now, where a popular TV channel reported some nuns who had been kicked out from their congregation because they reported sexual abuse by the priest. All of these reporters and testimonies made by the thousand nuns are well known by the Vatican, but they remain silent until now. The church is an institution managed by men and governed by men. So the least thing that we expected is that the same men are the ones who solve these crimes. This is in particular the most silent and less was probable to find justice in this world thanks to the cover-up of the religious officials themselves. But that's not the end. Some women are still fighting about their rights. This is the case of the sister Luceta Escarafia, a 72 years old journalist, mother of the congregation. She was the founder of the Women's Church World, and she also was the CEO of the semi-official Vatican newspaper. The sister Luceta Escarafia blamed abuse of women and minors on the clerical culture and all-powerful priesthood. Plenty of articles about the abuses of the nuns on the semi-official Vatican newspaper L'Osservatore Romano, which has a lot of impressions and reactions. It was like finally the Vatican was catching up and putting the eyes on her, but at the time's going on, it loses the power and the attention that it should be getting. She also allegates that it's hard for women to report these crimes in the church because they believe that they always have the right to say no. So if they know has been raped, the guilty will be on top of her. To add more trauma to that, some nuns who had become pregnant have to live their life raising their child with no help. This is a culture of silence and secrecy. She mentioned that women carry out secretarial work and translation, but they can never be promoted, and men get all the credit. They also exploit nuns as housekeeper. They do the whole job, cleaning, prepare food without fixing hours, all day, every day. Priests see this as their right to take advantage of them. After serious cases have been published about nuns being forced into prostitution inside of the Catholic Church, Escarafia has no more choice than to quit over sabotage under the increasing pressure by male domination. She confirmed that notice to the NBC News. Now, the new male director of the Salvatore Romano is the priest Andrea Monda. This problem has zero support from their government and from their communities, because for them it's more important their beliefs than resources, than reports, than testimonies and proofs. But thanks to the Me Too movement, these nuns has the support and the voice like they needed before. That's why most of them started to speaking up and say their stories to the public. An investigation by the Association Press found that the Vatican have not punished offenders of abuse of nuns in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. One thing that can help us to understand more this problem is research. With researching, you will have more access to the community. You will have more access to victims of this type of abuse. You probably will be able to help and contact with people who are exploring this field. For example, in my college at LaGuardia, we have a resource which is the Women's Center, where you will be able to find support, find resources, analyze the scope of this problem. The movement Nun too has such a strong influence now for the nuns that they give them power to speak up and try to find support. We could just begin with analyzing the background, because feminist psychology also studies the background of the situation. So we can relate about a little bit the history about women in society, where women was treated as an object in the beginning of the Mesopotamian era, for example. Most of us will be asked, why in this society women are treated as an object, like these nuns? Well, we just have to go a little bit back in time, like as an example, the Hammurabi Code, where it was one of the first laws who developed the society nowadays, where if you remember, women was treated as an object. Women were considered as a property for the male, with no rights in the society whatsoever. We are the product of our past generations. Well, probably it is. So we have to make sure that our future generations growing up with a different conceptions about people, with more acceptance, more respect, more values. As I said before, these are some ideas based on psychology perspective. Like we have to focus on the background as product of the behavior in societies. I believe that it's truly important to emphasize a culture of knowledge and fewer judgments. Also teach our future generations, especially kids and young culture of respect, honesty and improvement and support. Let's talk about it. Let's talk more about this into schools, college. Let's create workshops where they can participate and work together. Learn how to work together, making social tasks in order to shape a better society. We can also create a group support more reachable for those victims of violence, because this should be a primary topic everywhere. Violence against women occurs daily, everywhere, at any time. Even though most of these cases remain without no justice, thanks to the movement Me Too, most of these nuns were able to find support, to find a voice, to speak up, and to feel free of don't be judged by others. I also want to put into consideration that about this topic, it's pretty hard to find out the reports, the resources, or even the allegations against the priest, like the physical allegations. So a difference between domestic violence or any other type of gender violence, this is the most uncommon and less visible that we have, but it's happening right now. It's happening every day and nobody is speaking about this. So we should have a little bit of time to think about this and try to open up about this topic more often. So thank you so much for watching this video and I see you next time. Goodbye.